strong words this morning from Russia's prime minister saying the strained relationship between Russia and the West could be described as slipping into a new Cold War.
NATO's policy with regard to Russia remains unfriendly and opaque. One could go as far as to say that we have slid back to a new Cold War. Almost on an everyday basis, we are called one of the most terrible threats, either to NATO as a whole, or to Europe, or to the United States. Sometimes I wonder whether it is 2016 we live in, or 1962.
Well, Russia was coming in for a lot of criticism today. I mean, just prior to that, you had the French Prime Minister, Manuel Valls, saying that Russia's responsible for bombing civilians and that Russia in and around Aleppo in Syria, and Russia needs to stop that. There's been a lot of pressure on Russia over the past few weeks over that particular issue, and Russia continues to bomb those people in and around Aleppo right now. So what we've heard is a sort of a kickback from the Russian Prime Minister, Dmitry Medvedev. But I was sitting down just less than an hour ago with the NATO Supreme Allied Commander in Europe. That's General Philip Breedlove, US four-star general. He is the military man in charge of NATO. Also, the US European Command is in charge of that as well, wears several hats. And I said, what about this, about what Medvedev is saying, calling you, NATO, opaque, unfriendly, and slipping towards a Cold War? He said, look, opaque, he said, I just don't get that. Whenever NATO does military exercises, they're published, they're online, everyone knows when they're going to happen and where they're going to happen. Not the case in Russia. When the Russians go on military exercises close to the border, as he said. Unfriendly, he said that's not the case. Indeed, you know, Europe, NATO has been trying to reach out and be friendly towards Russia. But he says, look, Russia is changing its posture. Russia isn't just trying to rewrite the rule book here. He said Russia is trying to create new rules. He said, look, Russia went into Ukraine, crossed an international border, annexed Crimea. None of these things are sort of, you know, stand up to international law. And on top of that, NATO sees Russia developing what's known as A2AD, anti-area access denial, which are combined air, sea and land missile systems all the way from Kaliningrad in the north of Europe, St. Petersburg, Crimea, all the way down now to where Russian forces are in the north of Syria. So what he said, they see, NATO sees Russia clustering these A2AD systems, complex military systems in these areas, and they see that as not particularly a friendly gesture towards NATO and NATO countries.